It is such a beautiful autumnal day today. And with a little bit of rain, so the market garden is watered and the sheep now all sorted in with their topping partners, it's time to focus a bit on some manual work and some of the wildlife rewilding stuff. And one thing I must do before winter properly sets in and we get a lot of rain is work on this, one of our ponds. I have gradually been chipping away at restoring this pond for the past 4 or 5 years, because if you just leave most natural ponds, they fill up with so much silt, they just become marsh. So it's important, if you've just got natural ponds and you want to keep them as ponds, to manage them and keep them as a pond. So over the years I've been cutting back all around the edges, taking out some trees, taking out foliage and branches. I haven't done any digging out because I don't want to accidentally go through any kind of sealed bottom layer. But it's been important to get light back into this pond so actually pond plants can start thriving, which means then the water can be oxygenated instead of stagnant, and then wildlife can return. I've had quite a lot of success with this at my other pond, and we've seen frogs return and more numbers of frog spawn year on year on year. And so this pond, which is completely within my boundary, the other pond is on the edge of the boundary, this one needs some work, so let's get to it. I'm having to be a little bit careful because I ruined this shoulder a couple of days ago and it hurts like hell, so I'm pulling with all of this. I hope I don't do any more damage. Let's have a little pit stop. It's quite hard work dragging all of that stuff out. And obviously now I've got a bank of stuff. And all of this needs to be redistributed somewhere else. But at least it's not in the pond, because soon when we get a lot more rain, this will obviously all start to fill up and then I won't be able to get stuff out. I've still got to clear some of this and that bank around there. It's already starting to get a little bit more boggy in the middle, so it's definitely a job that I needed to do. I also want to try and rake out a lot of these sort of dead dying sticks, because they will just sit in the pond and gently rot and stagnate it more. I'm a little bit excited because I've just found this. This is common bistort, or I think it's also known as adderweed. And I didn't put it here, which is awesome. It's a really good pond plant. Probably you don't get as excited about this as I do, but I really want to get natural flora into these ponds. So the fact that this bistort has just popped up on its own is really, really great. And actually, look, there's more over there as well. Really good. As you can see behind me, there is a lot of greenery that's also crept in from the edges of the pond. Quite a lot of these are pond or marginal plants, but quite a lot are also invasive things like thistles and grass and brambles. However, when the rain returns and fills the pond up, those things that aren't aquatic will die. And I don't want to dig the stuff out, because as we've just seen with that bistort, there is stuff in that seed bed which needs to be here. So I'm just going to wait for rain and water to kill off the things that shouldn't be here. Are you helping? as I said earlier, I am now left with all of this brush outside of the pond that I need to do something with. I had thought just to leave it and let it sort of naturally rot down, but you can see that lot there, this is from last year, so it doesn't actually rot down as quickly as you might think. So over the winter I'm going to have to come through this and chop up all these individual branches to make a log pile, because as I say, if you just dump it and leave it like this, it doesn't rot down. The grass grows up through it and it looks kind of unsightly. Well, actually, I say unsightly, I don't actually mind it. I actually think there's something quite fascinating and interesting about this and all the creatures and stuff that can live in here, because obviously these branches are protecting in there. But I don't want loads of these piles all across my fields. So one thing I do need to do is I will need to haul these either intact right over the back there, or as I say, chop them down into smaller sticks and logs to make a big old wildlife log pile. And these brambles, they're from last year too. And actually, quick tip, dried brambles are fantastic fire starters. So if you're having a little fire and you want something to burn quick, this stuff is brilliant. So again, this needs to be cleared right away, because although again, fantastic habitat for wildlife to be in, it's literally right, I'm going to zoom out, it's right in the middle of everywhere where I've been cleaning as you walk up to the pond. And once this is all chopped down, I want this area to be clean and look nice, and so this needs to be moved. So the one thing about autumn is when you stop working, you get a bit cold. So I've got to thank Firebook for sending me this shirt. And this one. But back to the warmer one. Now as a farmer, and you've probably seen this in my videos, I don't tend to wear the best clothes in the world. If I've got a hole or it's a bit dirty, it doesn't matter. So when Firebook reached out and wanted to send me these, I was really excited for two main reasons. The first of which is sustainability, because Firebook have crafted a new material from bamboo fibre and Serona fibre, which is more eco-conscious. The second of which is I am a sweaty Betty. I get hot and sweaty all the time, and on a farm there is water, there is drips, there are spills, and these are water, oil and stain resistant. That's not to say these don't get wet, they're not waterproof, and how would you wash them? So of course they get wet, but they do help keep the sweat off. And if you're working on the farm and you get an oil stain, for example, it doesn't stick, it doesn't ruin it. They're also pretty darn comfortable. So they've got a thumbs up from me. If you want to check them out for yourself, there is a link in the description. If you order through me using that link, you will also get a discount. This is one of my rewilding team. She helps eat some brush down and keep things sort of naturally grazed. Hello. There should be some babies in there somewhere. Anglos hold them quite low down, so she looks quite thin at the top, but there is a bit of a bulge which she won't let me touch. But we don't know when, do we? Another thing I've got to go and quickly do is sort out the trail camera. Apologies if you've seen these before, but we've been catching some really nice animals on the trail camera, including these deer. And then also finally the other night, I managed to get rid of the spider that was living on the lens and relocate it. And our little badger friend came along. Stupidly, one thing I did when I was trying to attach this to the tree was I snapped this solar panel fixer. So now I have to lower it in place. Actually it's fine because the light didn't reach the tree, but now the solar panel is on the floor, so I just have to come over regularly and just clean it off. And if you want to support the rewilding and the nature stuff we're doing here, then you can just hit that subscribe button and even buy me a virtual coffee in the link below. Or if you just want to see more of our nature conservation stuff, then check out this video.